Hello everyone, I'm Ron Grant coming to you live and direct from Tortola in the Virgin Islands. You're watching 284 Media. Thank you so much for joining us. Lemonade BVI, founded in 2018, advocacy, community, and empowerment for persons differently abled within the community. Now, Lemonade BVI has been making leaps and bounds with raising awareness and hosting a number of community activities. And one of these upcoming activities is a seminar titled Truly Seeing the Unseen. Today, I'm joined by Ms. Simone Foster, the founder and executive director of Lemonade BVI, as well as Dr. Bethany Tucker, a parent and advocate for Down syndrome. We'll be right back after a quick commercial break. Some claim that the age of a true gentleman is far behind us, but we disagree. He may appear in different guises today, but the values and ideals that make him a gent still stand. The Art of a Distinguished Gentleman by yours truly, Ron Grant, presents Season 7. Introducing Travi Rose, creative director. Alex Lake, businessman. Sean Black, cinematographer. Dakari Wheatley Adams, content creator. Donandre Millwood, educator and musician. Hashim Dream, entertainer. James Todman Sr., contractor. Dr. Albert Tompkins, psychotherapist. Walter Barrett, author. Rakim Todman, producer and engineer. Kamal Letson, photographer. Roosevelt Smith III, sales manager and hospitality professional. Leland Abraham, IT technician and cybersecurity analyst. The Art of a Distinguished Gentleman, Season 7, every Wednesday at 8 p.m., exclusively on 284 Media. Get ready to reason, reflect, and redefine yourself through the stories of real-life heroes. The Art of a Distinguished Gentleman, Season 7, Raising a Generation of Greatness. Voted Top 35 Gentleman Podcast Worldwide by FeedSpot and BI Icon Award winner. Welcome back, everyone, and thank you all so much for sticking with us. As promised, we are joined by two parents, first and foremost, and as well as the founder and executive director. To my right, Ms. Simone Foster, along with Dr. Bethany Tucker, who is a parent and advocate for Down syndrome. Ladies, welcome to the platform, and thank you for your time.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
It's an absolute pleasure. As I mentioned, Lemonade BVI was founded in 2018, and of course, you are an official nonprofit organization. Your aim overall is to advocate for community as well as empowerment, understanding essentially, and supporting Down syndrome and differently able, because of course there are a number of different areas that encompasses. Simone, I want to begin with you. In founding Lemonade BVI, where did that come from?
All right. Well, Lemonade started out as a parent support group back in 2018 after the storms. It was, as I would often say to people, it brewed from a selfish need of my own. When my daughter got her diagnosis just before the storm of autism, I went away, as most of us did, for a brief period and came back home. And while away, I realized the amount of support there was available in other places. Coming back home, I decided I'll just make that available to myself, just build the community around me that I was craving. And as I was doing that, I realized more and more how many other people needed and appreciated that. And so quite naturally, it grew. And so Lemonade started out with about 6 of us having tea and biscuits in a library after school one afternoon. And then it grew exponentially, and particularly last year when I decided to jump full in. I registered it as a nonprofit. 4th of July is when it became official. Awesome. And then we started the work, and we grew. We're about 150 of us now in that group chat. But it's not just parents, it's doctors, therapists, teachers, caregivers, you name it. Because I don't believe it should just be about us as parents in silos. It should be everyone around us that supports us as well. It's a community. The children that we're supporting, it's not just them existing in their own world. They live in this world with us. And then it extends to us as parents, because lots of times you'll notice and you'll discover that the conditions are often hereditary, or there's a genetic component. So a lot of us parents, myself included, are also neurodivergent. So it's not just about any unique or individual need, it's about all of the neurodivergence and supporting the kids and the families with it. Yeah.
Wonderful. I love the fact that you highlighted the community, because oftentimes in situations like this, we work in silo.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily beneficial to all concerned.
It isn't. No.
So I'm happy that that community has been created. Now, Dr. Tucker, you are a parent, an advocate, of course, a member as well of Lemonade BVI. As a parent, what has the community done for you and your child in this instance?
Well, I felt very supported by Lemonade, and especially by Simone. We returned home after a period of time with my daughter Malia and my twins Ariel and Brooklyn, and we had been in California for a period of time because Malia had issues with pneumonias and other things that we had to address. And my parents passed away, and I had to take care of them, and such. And so I felt it was time for us to return home. I wanted them to be immersed in our culture and know who we are as a people. And so a big decision in my returning home was Lemonade, actually, and because we had been coming back and forth, spending every summer and all vacations, but I felt like we were ready. It was the time for us to return because of the support system in the territory now. We have PT, OT, and speech therapists, and we have Lemonade as a support advocacy group for us, and I really wanted to be a part of the advocacy process, and that's what we did last week with Down Syndrome Awareness and World Down Syndrome Day. It was really wonderful. It was something on my bucket list that I really wanted to participate in and grow, because I had such a difficult time as a parent when Malia was diagnosed. It was very challenging, and I didn't feel like I had that much support, and I don't want other people to have to endure that, because it is a beautiful thing to have a baby with Down syndrome and a neurodiverse baby in general. It's a beautiful thing. It's not something that's a negative. And I really want people to understand that and know that.
Well, I want to stay there for a second, because oftentimes it's looked at as the opposite. In your
Correct.
experience, how were you able to come to that conclusion?
Well, I think, being a psychiatrist, I see so many different individuals, and everybody on this planet has problems. It doesn't matter who they are,
correct, yes.
right? Like everybody has problems, So this is just another set of issues that has to be addressed and dealt with. And we have the capability of, with Malia, we have the capability of having her be a healthy individual that's functioning and working and going to college and doing all sorts of things and living her life, And she's been a huge gift for us and for me especially. I just realized it's so important to give them that opportunity through early intervention programs, through support. And I really want to emphasize that here in the territory, because as a small community, we can really go and include all of our children and help them to grow up into adults and actually have jobs that will help and help our community grow. And also, they can just be a big part of our community in general. So yeah.
And contributing significantly, of course.
Yes,
I want to talk a little bit about the fact that you mentioned a few things. That is early detection, which I think is important. Speak to the role of early detection in really helping to mold a differently abled child's life.
Yeah, I mean, Bethany's obviously had the similar experience to me with the resources you had available where you were. It's able to easily have professionals identify for you, help you get Malia on a plan. And, with her particular neurodivergence, it's physical, it's visible. For me, with my daughter who's autistic, it's the unseen, hence the name of, I'm going to plug the symposium here, the seen and unseen, right? Yeah. So for me, it was a slightly different experience, but I'm also been accused of being tenacious, and I'll own that. I don't just take no for an answer. Okay. So I observed, I had my mom instinct kick in, something's going on here. I need to understand why my child is now 3 years old and nonverbal. And so I started that discovery for myself. At the time, we didn't have those things that Bethany mentioned, PT, OT, speech, all of it available as a bucket for you to be able to access readily here. I got on a boat to St. Thomas to see a specialist there for my daughter. I know people who had to fly to Puerto Rico or Miami to do the same thing, or the UK or wherever. So I just felt like I did the lion's share of just getting that awareness going because I needed to know what the answer was.
Understood.
I wasn't trying to get a label put on her. I just needed to understand how I can be the best parent for her. So that's where I think people need to shift their perspectives in terms of early intervention. It's not just about getting a label or a diagnosis. It's also understanding what is that child's unique need. What are those needs? How do we then meet them? Because often you'll hear people say, if you met one autistic child, you've met one autistic child. Same with Down syndrome.
Yes.
They may exhibit certain very similar characteristics, but they're very different people,
Understood.
just like the rest of us in the world. Yeah.
Thank you for that clarity. Now, of course, ladies, I have to touch on the seminar, which is coming up on April 12th, 2025, Truly Seeing the Unseen, 8:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. at Save the Seed. Simone, tell us about this remarkable experience that the community can expect.
Of course. So this is one of the objectives of Lemonade BVI, which is to ensure we have major events in the community, encouraging big turnout, big participation from everyone. It's labeled as a parent and caregiver symposium because we're trying to ensure that we get the persons living with neurodivergence in their families to come out, but it's also for everyone because, like I said before, support is not just about us supporting each other. It's about everyone in the community coming together. The reason being, to grow understanding, raise awareness, and then to also share knowledge and information and tips and tricks, right? So the symposium is one of two that are going to happen this year. Last year we did the ADHD and dyslexia one, and that was a huge hit. We had lots of participation there. This time we're hoping for the same thing. We're encouraging people to come out. It's a day where we spend time in the space thinking about how can we help grow our community into a more inclusive place? How do we put the tools in place? How do we equip each other and ourselves to get to that place where it's not even a thing to talk about anymore, right? Wouldn't that be beautiful?
Oh, yes.
You know, you just have children registered for school or for whatever, you know, or you go to church and the church is inclusive. You know, I've found that as we started this work, and already I'm so proud of BVI. BVI, I'm so proud of you. Already I'm seeing the needle move, right? So people are talking about dyslexia, they're getting trained, they're going out there, they're finding information. Same with ADHD. Adults like me are getting diagnosed later in life because they realize, wait a minute, the things I learned at that last symposium, perhaps there's something I need to. Yeah. And so it's not really about the labels, but it's just about understanding ourselves and understanding how we can be our best selves, right? And it's the same for our children. So the more we know, knowledge is power. The more we know, the better we're going to be as a community. So this time of year, March is Down Syndrome Awareness Month. The 21st is the day we acknowledge it. April 2nd is Autism Awareness Day. So during the month of April, we acknowledge autism. And as I mentioned previously, autism and Down syndrome share a lot of commonality, but the one thing that's different about them, one is seen. You can physically see features of a child or a person living with Down syndrome. You cannot often see it with someone with with Down syndrome, but you cannot see it with autism. So it's really accessing that topic and just getting people to think a little bit deeper about it. Yes, we have deficiencies in the community. Yes, we can do more. Yes, I get it. But how do we do it? And that's the conversation I want us to have on Saturday, April 12th. So just to encourage people to come out and engage on that level.
Of course, as we mentioned, Save the Seed, Saturday, April 12th, 2025. That's from 8:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. Is any registration necessary? Are there fees attached? What can persons expect in that regard?
Sure. Yes, it's early on a Saturday morning. I get it. If you went out Friday night, it might be a problem. However, set your alarm, come out. We'll have coffee. We'll have pastries. We'll have things ready for you, refreshments. We'll have lunch available as well for the day. And we also have free childcare. So don't try to find a sitter for the kids. Bring them. We have that arranged for you. It's at Save the Seed. You know, downstairs, there's the play area and the bowling alley. The kids will have a blast while we're doing our thing upstairs. There's no fee involved. Thanks to our sponsors.
Beautiful.
Absolutely free. So the only thing you're giving on that day is your time and an open mind. Come with an open mind, come to learn from each other. And yeah, that's it. I can't think of anything else to say.
No problem at all. And you mentioned sponsors. I'd love to give you an opportunity to highlight or thank anyone who has contributed thus far to the seminar.
Oh, absolutely. So I was very, very pleased. Just the last few weeks in church, I was approached by a Rotarian, one of your counterparts.
Rotary Club Sunrise, yes.
There you go. And they were so tickled. This was Sonia. She was so tickled to hear about what we were doing in the community, and she really wanted us to wanted you guys to be a part of our work. And right away, without much thought going into it, Rotary Sunrise has now partnered with Lemonade in a big way. So they've also provided financial support for the symposium, and we're very grateful for that. We also have Ernst & Young. They're one of our sponsors, as well as, they're going to kill me. There's another one.
That's fine. If we remember, we can get back to it.
Yeah, we'll plug that in. But we do have other supporters in the community. We have anonymous donors as well and supporters, because there are people out there who want to give, but they just don't want. It's not about the recognition.
Which is also appreciated.
Yes, absolutely. Okay. And so La Dulce Vita is one of those supporters. I'm going to plug them because the kids love the ice cream there. Yes. And Pearl is just amazing. She was there with us at the bingo. The bowling night. Yeah. And it's definitely really, really good to see so many community partners coming out and just supporting us in a big way.
Wonderful. Yeah. Dr. Tucker, I want to say before we go, I want to ask you, how important do you think it is? Because you're in the capacity, in the role today as a parent and advocate, but you are also a psychiatrist, am I correct?
Correct.
So you have an opportunity to be able to see it from varying vantage points. Yes. How important is this level of support, in your opinion, to the betterment of not only persons living with autism or Down syndrome, but the holistic development of our community?
It's incredibly important. Just having a whole community supporting the child and the parents and the family, because it's very difficult if you feel like you're living in a vacuum, Mm-hmm. And I think here we have such a unique opportunity because it's a small community, so we can really support one another on a large scale, even though we're small,
mm-hmm.
So we can actually offer unique opportunities to our children, in that with education or with work, So coming to the territory, Malia had a lot of PT, OT, and speech sessions, and she had in the States, but I've been able to kind of piecemeal things together through our special education teachers in Agape, her school that she goes to now. She has done quite well with the support of the teachers there, and her class is so lovely.
Makes a difference.
Love her to death, mm-hmm. And it's wonderful. I just feel so blessed to be back home and to have open arms, especially from Lemonade and Simone.
Mm-hmm.
It's just been quite the experience, and I felt very nurtured. And it's so important for me because it's tiring sometimes, just parenting in general, it's exhausting, right? So it's just a few more notches, with having to go to OT, PT, speech and those sorts of things. But it's wonderful and so rewarding to sit and watch your child continue to progress little by little. It might take her a little longer, but not a big deal, Mm-hmm. And it helps you reevaluate what's important in life, the values of life. It's not about attaining a specific, necessarily a specific goal, because as we all know, we can make a gazillion dollars or be at a certain height or professional career, but it doesn't necessarily bring joy and happiness, but mm-hmm. to actually see your child progressing and doing well, interacting and being so loving and giving and singing her heart out, Jesus loves me. That's what it's about. That's Beautiful. What life is about. Relationships, that's what life is about. And I feel like here in our territory, we can have those intricate and relationships that really nurture the whole world, basically. We could be an example for the world. And that's what I'm hoping
that is
for.
True.
It sounds
well said.
big, but I know we can do it.
We can do it. And we're going to do it.
It's quantitatable.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
And we're making already such huge strides already, because I can't go without saying this part. Like the education department has transformed when they appointed an officer specifically assigned to addressing special needs. And I've watched her and her team grow exponentially as well, and just ensuring that not only the numbers are there to support the kids in the school system, but also they're growing their knowledge and getting themselves trained, and just keeping on top of the support that we need. And so, again, it's not perfect. And yes, it may not be enough right now because the numbers are growing. But I just want to say that it makes a difference having someone like that assigned to us at the ministry, because it's someone who gets it. Right, and that's a person that you can relate to, even on a personal basis.
Totally agree.
So, and just to clarify something, and I guess we use the lingo all the time, and persons may not know what she meant by saying PTOT speech. It's physical therapy, occupational therapy, and speech therapy. Those are the three common things that children that are neurodivergent often need. Those are the three services that are so critical. We take it for granted because once a kid learns to speak, that's it. Off they go. They're learning. They're reading. Oftentimes our children struggle with that. OT is something as simple as being able to pick up this cup or to pour from one to the next, or hold a pen,
button their shirt,
brush their teeth, different things. Some of them they can't because of gross and fine motor skills. Yeah. And then physio, that one is a bit more obvious because you may see like a limp or a distortion in movement or gait. Physio helps with building strength and flexibility and mobility in the muscles. Again, I'm not a specialist, but these are the things I learned as a parent as I'm getting my child the therapies she needs as well.
And thank you for that.
Yeah, and they also improve exponentially the more that they have these services. And that's why the limit of 12 that the government has right now, I hope that it will... 15.
Yeah.
We will improve.
That's one of the things we're going to be poking at to get it fixed.
I also want to plug a couple of sponsors before we move on to David Archer.
Oh yes, Mr. Archer. He was instrumental. Yeah.
Instrumental in allowing us to have space at Bombache for the bingo night, and Caribbean Insurers as well.
Caribbean Insurers, that's the name I was trying to remember. Yes.
Wonderful. And it still takes a village. So kudos and special thanks to all of the sponsors who have come on board. Before we go, I need you to mention our social media handles for persons who are watching and looking on and they want to get in contact with Lemonade BVI. They want to participate. They want to join forces with you. How can they get in contact with the organization?
Absolutely. So we've got a Facebook page. Just type Lemonade BVI into Facebook, you'll find us. We also have an Instagram handle, and you can also find us on YouTube. We have a YouTube channel. I think that's when you have to actually search for my name, Simone Foster, but if you type Lemonade BVI, you'll find all of our videos there. The YouTube one, I would like to mention that we have videos there, not only of our events and things that we've done, but we also have this series that I'm hoping to keep building. It's called SPED Talk. This is where we sit kind of like what we're doing right now with specialists and just have conversations about topics. And so that's a really good one for people to take a look at on our channel, just to start understanding a bit more beyond just what they're seeing with Lemonade in the community. Because the work that we're doing, it's not just about raising awareness. There's so much more, and I'm sure you're going to get into that when we talk about our three pillars. But I just wanted to emphasize that the work, there's work to be done, and we're going to keep doing it.
Absolutely.
And you can find us, and reach out to us on any of those mediums. You can also reach me on my number personally on WhatsApp. All of that is listed out there.
Exceptional.
Yeah.
Well, ladies, I want to thank you so much for stopping by. Most importantly, congratulations on the full advocacy that Lemonade BVI represents, as well as community. Kudos to you guys, and continue the good work.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
You're most welcome.
Yeah.
Viewers, that's all the time we have. Have a beautiful rest of the day. I'm Ron Grant. Goodbye.